Yes, you can make 100K as a software engineer working remotely from Europe. Matter of fact, you can also make much more than that. You can even make 500,000 working remotely from Europe as a software engineer. Before we start, when I say 100K, actually what I mean is six figure. You can even make more than that. You can even make 200K, 300K, up to 500, 600K. Of course, this last range is quite difficult if you want to work fully remotely. And I'm specifying fully remotely here because what I mean is not working just from Europe, meaning like from some cities that notoriously pay more, like London or Zurich. I mean anywhere in Europe almost. So in most countries, Spain, Greece, Eastern Europe, Turkey, I mean a lot of countries. Basically a contract that allows you to work in an area or in a time zone and where you can choose the country where to put your residency and where to set up your taxation pretty much. And in some cases, you can even find places that are very optimal, both for lifestyle, cost of living, but also taxation. So we'll talk about that in the future as well here in this channel. But today we are mostly covering the basics of how this works. So how this works is that you mostly need a company willing to pay you that much, right? This is the number one component to get such a work situation, work arrangement. And these companies are out there. There are people working such jobs, and you can find these companies and these jobs. Usually, these companies are recently funded startups, so young companies that have big funding, usually between 10 to 100 million of funding. And they are just starting out. Maybe they are less than 5 years old or 10 years old. In some cases, they can be a bit older if they've been operating at a somewhat small scale for a long time, but still while being very profitable. And they're usually American companies. You can have also European companies allowing for this work arrangement in some cases, but usually it's going to be more on the low six figures. So maybe 90K, 100K, up to 150K. I think more than that, it's usually more for American companies. Exception being made for contractors. You can be a contractor making up to 200K for some companies. Maybe if your client is a German bank or something like this, you can reach these levels as well. But usually it's, I would say 80-90% of the cases, it's American companies, American startups. And yes, what these companies require is for you to be very skilled, of course. And the reason why they allow for these work arrangements is because they want to have top tier engineers, and they don't want to compete with the employers in Silicon Valley, in New York, and having to pay 400, 500, 600K for very talented and senior engineers. So they say, okay, I want still to have top talent. I don't want to pay as much. Maybe I don't have enough funding. And so I'm going to allow people to work remotely from Europe or from Latin America, usually, and pay them still very well, 100K, 200K, 300K, and still pay less than what I would pay here in San Francisco, for example, or in New York or in Seattle. And usually this is how it works. So you need to be a top developer at the end of the day, someone that could land a senior role in a company like Google, or a mid-level engineer role at a company like Google or Facebook, something like this. And you need to be able to pass the interviews, meaning you need to be able to prove your skills. And these interviews usually are both some big tech style interviews. So you have some lead code, some system design, some domain specific interview rounds. Like, for example, if you are in machine learning, you might have some machine learning specific interview. And then you also have other rounds which are more tailored, like more practical to the actual job you would do there. You need to find these companies. Then you need to be top tier talent. Otherwise, you cannot get this type of deals, more or less. You need to be prepared also to pass the interviews. And ideally, you should also apply with a referral, because they are small companies. They don't have big HR departments, maybe, meaning they cannot sort through thousands of applications very effectively. So it's key for these companies to do a very good job at networking online. and apply with a referral. This will give you a very strong head start. So you can make 6 figures in Europe as a software engineer working remotely. You can, in many cases, choose where to base yourself, meaning you can base yourself in a place with contained taxes, contained cost of living, and high lifestyle, and matching your preferences. So freedom on where to live, contained cost, high salaries, and these companies are usually American startups, in some cases European startups, in some cases European Fortune 500 type companies, if you are a contractor especially. And in order to pass these interviews and land these jobs, you need to know how to find the companies. You should apply with a referral, so you need to have very strong networking, and you need to pass the interviews. This is more or less what you need in the end to land these roles. Now I will show you some resources that can help you in this process, and also some proof of people working these jobs. All right, so now I'm gonna try to show some tools and some frameworks to help you do the things we discussed earlier. Basically, what we said is that you have these jobs, they are good, they have high pay, they have usually also good working style, modern working arrangements. Sometimes they are async and whatnot. And also a company that offers remote, usually it's a cool company, you know. And what you need to land them, you need to know the companies, you need to network with people working there, you need to get referrals from these people, you need to learn from these people what the actual interview processes are like in details, and then you need to do your best in the interview. You also need to be a good engineer. Let me show you this, because I know some of you will be like, no, it's impossible to make 200K working from Southern Europe or from Turkey or from Bulgaria, right? But actually it is possible. So this is like a page of the testimonials of my coaching program. I'm not trying to flex my coaching program, but this is just like real people with name and surname. You can check them out on LinkedIn. And some of them got these 6 figures remote jobs. Some people even had them before starting the program. Like this guy here who works in in Eastern Europe, and he already had 100K jobs, and they just joined to learn about how to make 200K. And this other guy, he got a 6-figure remote job from a European company. This other guy very recently got another 6-figure remote job from Spain. So this is possible. If you don't believe it, just Google it and go on Reddit. There are many people with this job. I mean, many. This is still like the top 5% of the market, right? I said you need to be someone that can enter big tech. I would say this job is similar to big tech. In my opinion, it's easier to get into big tech than to get such jobs. So this is competitive, of course, but it is possible. And if you want to like open that link for yourself and see it, you can go to even just 6-figure year engineer, which is the URL for my coaching program. Then it redirects you here. It's a newsletter article, and here you can read some details. Maybe you want to join. You don't need to join. This is not what I'm advertising here, but you can open here and then you will see the testimonials yourself. All right, but what I want to talk about is the other things, and this tool, which is cheaper. You can just pay €9 per month and you can access it. And this is already going to help you a lot, because here you have 90 companies that fit this criteria. They offer a 6-figure pay fully remotely from Europe. And in many cases from other places, many cases from America as well, or from Latin America, in some cases from Asia. And I added 3 new companies like this every week. So it's going to be many more than 90 eventually. But one cool thing that I added recently, this week, actually, is this page. And here you have, for some of these companies, right? I mean, it's cool. You see all these companies, but it's a bit annoying because you need to go to their career page, right? And manually look for jobs for yourself. But now I added this page where I directly show the jobs. So you can just go here and check for these companies, the jobs. So far, I've only added 32 companies here. And in the other page, there are 90. So just 1/3. But I plan to add more. And then you can even filter here, for example, backend role, and you find the backend ones, or front end, and you can find some front end one, or machine learning, or data science, and so on, or data engineer. It's a good role nowadays. Okay, here you can filter for the companies. So basically now basically with this tool, you should know what these companies are, right? This you access instantly with €9, but this is very much not enough. This is also part of the products, okay? So actually, if we are assuming you take this product, then you will have this. You need a good CV. So you can check out this guide and follow it. It's not so complicated, to be honest, to have a good one. Here I share also some templates. I will make a follow-up to this guide because this is a bit short. We can have more things here. But, you know, if you read this and you actually do things like as they're written here, then it's going to be already good enough, probably. And then what you need to do is to optimize your LinkedIn, because networking here will be key for getting the referral and learning more about the interview process and passing the interviews. So if you don't have a good LinkedIn, you cannot do these things. Unless you went to Ivy League university, you already have people in your network in real life, but you need to leverage the internet. So that's the easiest and the most effective way nowadays. LinkedIn is the best place for software engineers to do this, because people can see your profile, you're not a stranger on the internet, and they can see your track record, and you can have a picture, they can see your face, you can reach out with a message, they can see your message if it is well written, if it is presentable, if it gives an idea that you're professional, if it is respectful, if you are humble and things like this, if you're not annoying. You need to know how to reach out to people, and in this guide I share some of the things. First of all, how to make your profile look decent, how to advertise your jobs that you had, and your skills and so on. Basically, then with the LinkedIn, you reach out to people, but also it's a way to attract recruiters. Sometimes you get these jobs from recruiters. Like once, for example, I shared on LinkedIn a few years back when I finished my master thesis, which was performance analysis of distributed systems in Java. And then I had the CEO of a startup in Silicon Valley reaching out to me saying that we're dealing with some performance issues on their data pipelines in Java. They had like a knowledge graph, so very high data load. And they found my thesis interesting. Then the CEO said, let's get on a call. We had a call. Then I had the formal interview process with his team. A few technical interview rounds, did all the rounds, didn't get the job in the end because some of the rounds were like lead code in Java, so they were very Java focused, and I hadn't been using Java for some time back then and never done lead code in Java. I usually do it in Python, so I wasn't able to like shine and get the job. But this is to say that you can attract recruiters from these companies as well if your LinkedIn is well presented. And then it's necessary if you reach out to people to be presentable. And when you reach out, you also need to reach out in a good way. You need to have good messages. Here I provide some templates, for example. This should help you reach out to people in a good way. Then you don't need to annoy them. I don't want to get too in-depth into this because it's going to be long and the video will just be about this. But basically, long story short, with this tool now you can get the companies, even get the jobs so you can do it quicker. You know how to improve your CV, improve your LinkedIn, learn how to reach out to people, get some help from these people, be respectful. Hopefully one day get a referral, learn about the interview process, and then you can land these jobs, which many people have already. I think this is all from me for today. This is my second video. If you want, you can go check the other video that I made last week, which was my first video on YouTube, and where I go a bit more in detail on this job board as well that I'm building and on my background as well. Yeah, that's about it. I think I will post weekly here on YouTube now if you like the content. If you want to explore some other stuff, you can go to my newsletter, the European Engineer. Here I've been writing for 1 year, plenty of articles, a lot of things to learn, I think, for if you're a software engineer in Europe. And you can also check me, if I managed to put my name, on LinkedIn, where I have 40,000 followers. I've been writing here also since 1 year, and I daily post about software engineering and other things. All right, I think this will be all for me for today, and I wish you a good rest of the day, and bye.